があるとマイクみたいになりたい。でも電話してくれない。オークランドとブックレンドから世界チャンピオンバーチャルプローズ始まるよ。バーチャルプローズ。バーチャルプローズ。
Boy, you should know that I had you on my mind, secret admirer. I've been watching you. Should I swing my way? Sure look good to me. Now would you please swing my way? Should I swing my way?
Episode 16 of the world-famous Virtual Pros podcast. My name is Al, a.k.a. one half of the Lyrical Miracle Violence Connection, a.k.a. Henny Omega, a.k.a. Flocka Michinoku, and with me is Mike.
Hey, it's Mike, a.k.a. Dan the Hypebeast Severn, a.k.a. Quarter Juice Robinson, a.k.a. the villain Marty Scott.
Today's episode, Get to Know Your Hosts, will be fielding questions that you listeners sent us, and we assembled a kind of survey, and hopefully from there you can kind of understand our biases when it comes to professional wrestling. Hit us on iTunes and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit us on SoundCloud, find us by using Virtual Pros. Follow us on Twitter at VRTL Pros. Same as our Insta. I just got a bunch of Japanese magazines today from Totocon, our official sponsor of the Virtual Pros podcast. Mm-hmm. And if you want to hit us, email us, please, at virtualpros64@gmail.com. We got one email today, and Mike, you want to read it if you have it open?
Yeah, sure, I'll read it.
Cool.
Let me get this going here. It's right here. Okay. Whoop. So many SoundCloud notifications. Okay, here we go.
Popping out here.
Okay, this is from listener Michael. Subject is Jollibee. It says, "Hey, Virtual Pros. Mike, can you please share your Jollibee experience? To keep it somewhat wrestling related, would you say it is the Nakamura of the fried chicken game? Since you know yellow people make it. What are your guys' wrestler comparisons to other fried chicken chains? I really like fried chicken. Keep up the good work, guys. I've been a dedicated listener since episode 1. Thanks, Mike, a.k.a. Al's Legitimate Oos, a.k.a. Cactus Smack, a.k.a. Macho Man Randy Cabbage, a.k.a. the Molly Donis." Okay, yeah, I've been to Jollibee twice now.
Yeah.
The first time, it was very, very crowded because it was the day of the Manny Pacquiao fight, and I guess everybody just needed to get their chicken to bring home. I don't know, but It was...
No, that's exactly the reason why it was crowded.
Yes.
Yep.
It was the most crowded I've ever seen a fast food place in my life. We somehow got a seat, but it was like, I mean, not only was like every seat taken, but like there was just like people hovering. So it was just like kind of awkward, but the chicken was really good. I really like the spaghetti. I was telling Al, he was making fun of me for it. I like the sauce of the spaghetti. I think the actual pasta of the spaghetti is trash, but kind of expected. And, the burgers, I guess the first time I had the burger, it was okay, but it had too much of that shit on it, whatever they put on it. Their special sauce.
You got the Aloha burger, right?
That was the second time.
Oh.
Yeah, the second time, so I went there.
You just got the yum, it sounds like.
Yes, it was like the normal ass burger with a lot of sauce on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the second time I went before Evolve by myself. And I was just like, it's okay. It's a fast food place. It's okay to go here by yourself.
Yeah, sure.
And it was still pretty crowded. It wasn't as crowded, but I had to sit next to like a nice Filipino family. And it was kind of awkward. And I got the spicy chicken that time. And that was like I won't say a million times better than the regular fried chicken, but it was a lot better to me at least. And yeah, I got the Aloha Yum. And yeah, their strong point is definitely not making burgers. This is like one of the worst fast food burgers I think I've ever had. I would even put it in like contention with like gas station burgers. So,
actually, my mom had a question for you because I brought this up. How did you use the gravy?
I just dipped my chicken in it.
Yeah, use it right. Because recently Bourdain, he did an episode about him going to the Philippines, and he poured it on his rice, and that's not really using it wrong, but it's really for your chicken to me, honestly. You got to mix that whole thing up.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious it's for the chicken.
Yeah, come on, Bourdain.
I also left out, I actually went there a third time because after Evolve I was pretty drunk. So I just like went there again and got a bucket of chicken for the way home, which was a good idea.
Also, you got some peach mango pies.
Yeah.
In your opinion, is that the number one bang count it dessert menu or dessert item from a fast food place?
They're super good. Like I don't really fuck with McDonald's apple pies because I don't really like apple a lot. But yeah, if I'm not gonna lie, I ate all 3 of those mango pies in one day, but it wasn't a good idea, but I did it because they're super good. Yeah, I would definitely like their fried chicken is probably the best out of fast food places. I think mostly because Popeyes and KFC just kind of gave up and they're just like, we're gonna make shitty chicken now. And like the skin on the Jollibee chicken is just like, it's like pork rinds basically. Like you could just eat it by itself if you wanted to.
So the question was, can we compare these to wrestlers? So let's break it down. You have KFC, you have Popeyes, and do you have Church's out there?
I've had Church's before. We don't have them here, though.
Yeah, Church's is mega trash, but their biscuits might be the best in the game. Man, Mike, let me get back to you with the wrestler fast food chicken comparisons. Like, I would say maybe the KFC's John Cena, because it's everywhere, and it's okay. Popeyes is just better KFC? I don't know.
Have you had KFC when you were like in any of your gallivants to Asia?
Dude, so check it out. KFC in Asia is fucking fire. That's what I thought. If only because it comes with rice, and I think fried chicken and rice is like, the goat mix. Also, just chicken just tastes better there. And their fry jobs are a little cleaner. Like KFC here is like super oily. When you bite into it, you feel really fucking bad for yourself. Yeah. But when you go to like KFC in say Taiwan, like it's super crispy. Even in the Philippines, man, yeah, fried chicken's on a different level in Asia for sure.
Oh, that was the one other thing I forgot to mention about Jollibee is when I got that bucket, I got mashed potatoes because I was like, hey, what the fuck? Yeah. And surprisingly, very good mashed potatoes. I was expecting them to be garbage, and they were like actually really, really good.
All right. Hope you got your answer, Mike, even though you really didn't because we couldn't come up with any comparisons. So we'll start two-man scramble, and I actually have 2 topics for you, Mike.
Oh, man.
I know. It's been like 5 episodes, and it took me a while to come up with some topics. But I guess today it was announced for the WWE Hawaii card, they're going to have John Cena versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Your thoughts?
I think, well, we should say that it still hasn't been confirmed that this is something that's going to be on TV.
Right.
And I don't think it is. Like, I just think we're planning on doing it and not saying anything, but now they might be backed into a corner where they have to put it on TV.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I assume if it's on TV, it'll be some kind of fuck finish. And even if it's not on TV, it'll probably be some kind of fuck finish. This isn't like when they would go to Japan and have like Funaki headline. I don't think it's like that kind of deal. I think they just needed to get a Japanese guy in there somewhere.
Yeah, on top of this match being announced, they also have Charlotte Asuka and Brock Lesnar versus Kevin Owens. And to me, this should have been WrestleMania 32. Like, that's an amazing lineup. Yeah. I agree with you that this is going to be a fuck finish. I think Nakamura's going to get his shit in, and Cena's going to have a good showing. But there's no way they're going to have one pin the other. I just think that's how it's going to go. I think it's rumored that this is going to be Bash at the Beach on the network, but these are all like unsubstantiated rumors, so we'll see. But that match is going to be kind of crazy to me.
Yes.
My second topic is so this past weekend I ate a lot. We took my mom out to this crazy Italian spot, and I ate a lot of pasta, and I did a lot of regret eating. I even went to Jollibee recently, and I was like, man, I feel a little guilty. So Stardom released their first, I guess you could say, episode of their ongoing video series, I hope, called Start! Body Up. And it's an exercise show where they charge 5,000 yen to fans to work out with them. And what better way to burn those calories than to follow Kairi Hojo leading you off in exercises? It's about like a 20-minute video, and they do all kinds of like push-ups with like your knees on the ground and squats. And I made sure to do 3 sets of each, like 10 reps. And aside from the squats, like, if I ever get to a point with my body where I can't do a regular man push-up, I'm probably just going to jump off the Bay Bridge. Like, that's kind of just like a litmus test for me personally, to see where my body's at. Like, if I can't do like 10 or 15 straight without like heaving, then I think I'm okay. But if it ever gets to me doing push-ups with my knees on the ground, like, forget about it. I'm fucking leaving Earth. Mike, what were your thoughts on this video?
I actually had this on my 2-man scramble topic too. So
there you go.
Yeah, you were, I think, texting me about this, and I have Stardom too, and I was just like, I have no interest in watching this, and you were texting me about it, and then I think I got bored, and I was like, let me just check it out for like a couple minutes.
Yeah. And
I put it on, and I was about to shut it off, and then they're like walking into the exercise studio. And I realized, like, because at the point I didn't know that this was something they charged fans to do.
Right.
So, like, as soon as, like, I knew that, like, these dudes were actual just, like, perverts that were just like, oh, man, we're going to be exercising with these girls. I was like, I got to watch this whole thing. And, yeah, it's just, like, super bizarre because obviously none of these dudes are, like, in shape. Like, they're not going because they want to they want to feel the burn or anything. They're just going to check out these ladies. And there's even like a very brief glance where you could see in the mirror, like one of them just like staring directly at Kairi Hojo's ass.
Yeah, I saw that guy.
And just like it's a mixed bag, and it just made me think like how much I would like. First off, you could not. There's no way this would fly in America, where you could get Americans to exercise for money, just for hot girls. On the other hand, you could probably have guys pay to watch girls exercise for money, but I don't know about joining in on the exercise. That just seems odd. But if they got it going, if they charge like $50, $100, whatever, to have these dudes exercise with whatever hot indie girls there are right now, like I would pay $20 for that video just to watch it because it would be fucking amazing. The pieces of humanity they would get to pay $50 to just be in the same room as a woman it would just be amazing in America. And I hope it happens. I hope somebody puts it together. I think Stardom is like the smartest promotion on earth, just to be like, yeah, you go out there, you do some exercises for half an hour, you'll each get about $500. Like that's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, mind you, there was about 25 people in that studio, and they were charging 5,000 yen a piece to exercise for 30 minutes. I mean, I guess they got protein drinks at the end of it because some guy was like pitching those things.
Yeah.
But man, that's like almost clearing $1,000, I feel like. And yeah, you're right. Stardom is honestly the best promotion on earth because they're just doing it right. Like, if you want to just do some fan service, like, just look at Stardom because they're just killing it right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they still do the free trial, but it's like $5 a month. It is honestly worth it to watch this video if you're into bizarre shit like I am, because it's just like, and I hope they keep going with this. I hope there's that other video where they're at like the food fair and they're just like eating food.
Yes.
And, you know, as long as they don't get too sleazy, as long as they're like, oh no, we're in high school again. Like, as long as it's no videos like that and it's just them doing like odd stuff, I'm like totally into it.
There's this guy, when Kairi Hojo was going around and like tapping like everyone's like stomachs during sit-ups. This guy, he starts to go into side sit-ups. He's like, oh man, I got to step it up here and show Kairi that I can actually do some sit-ups. And that might be my favorite part of the video. Oh, and wondering which guy sounds like Cookie Monster in all of these Stardom matches.
Yes.
That guy that yells, yo, Mayu. That guy.
Mayu. Yes. He's so good.
I really need to see this man's face because I just need to know. I've just been wondering about it for the past couple of weeks now.
I thought you were going to talk about these autograph cards, too.
Oh, which autograph cards?
You sent me that link about some kind of Leaf autograph signature series cards.
I just kind of sent you that in passing because there is this guy that we follow. He'll go unnamed. I don't want to shame him. I guess this company, they released trading cards of wrestlers of the past. So you can get hot autographs from past superstars like Pat Tanaka. And, you know, those kinds of wrestlers.
Yeah, it's all bozos.
It's all bozos. I mean, there's one, I think Liger, he did some cards, and he's not a bozo ever to me. But I'm just wondering what kind of fan is out there that's willing to spend like $100 on a hobby box filled with autographs from Pat Tanaka. Like, that to me is insane.
Yeah, and the link you sent me, it has a description of the cards, and it says tentative signers, as if like they didn't get them yet. So you might not even get those autographs. And then for like the big names like Andre the Giant, it straight up says this isn't a real autograph. So it's just like you're paying.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's not a real. It says it's some kind of like special space age technology to make it look like a real autograph, but it's just like from a plate.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, like I think I've said it on the show before. I don't really understand the like what you need with an autograph. I guess it's like it's a cool plus. Like there's a couple shirts on Totocon that I'm going to end up getting, and it seems that Japanese wrestlers have signed every single thing they've ever come in contact with, because like 90% of the items on there are signed. And so there's a couple like signed shirts I'll probably end up getting, but I don't really care about the fact that they're signed. I just think they're cool shirts. It sucks I'll never be able to wear them because they're signed, but you know, I just don't understand the mentality when it comes to autographs. Like I could see back in like the pre-internet days when you didn't just have a phone where you could take a picture of somebody, or you know, like you could just talk about it on Facebook. Like so you'd have like proof. You know, you'd be like, here, like I met this guy, I have his autograph. When you're just getting it in the mail, like I don't even understand that.
I can understand the appeal of like autographs on cards, because I think like getting baseball cards autographed is kind of like they're linked together forever for whatever reason. Just because you have a picture of the player or whatever and their autograph. Like, I think one of the weirdest subcultures is when people buy other people's items with their like an autograph on it. Like to me, like if you have someone's autograph, it's like almost documenting a memory. And if you're like buying someone's like item that they don't even care about anymore, that's autographed, like it's really almost buying someone's like garbage. Like this person did not care about it, anymore. And they're just like, here, have it. I don't care that it's signed. I don't care about this memory. Like you can have it for $40. But I can kind of see the appeal of like these cards, but I don't see the appeal of having Pat Tanaka's autograph in 2016.
Yeah, there's a place near, like sort of near us in Flushing, Queens. All right, it's near Flushing, called Wrestling Universe, and they have like literally every single 8x10 ever autographed by wrestlers, and they're only like $10. So like, if you want like an obscure autograph, it's not too hard to get. But like the thing that actually bugs me the most is it's beyond wrestling. It's like these fucking nerd conventions where people literally spend like $50 just to take a picture and get an autograph with some guy who was in like Nightmare on Elm Street 5 for like 10 minutes. Like, I don't understand that mentality at all. It just seems like you're burning money, but I guess it's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, definitely weird to me.
Okay, to move on, there's another quick tidbit that I just wanted to read. This is from listener Taylor. I don't know if it's going to be the next episode or maybe another episode down the road, but we are planning the Vrtl Pros presents the Super S Cup, or the Super S Crown, I should say, the Super Shame Crown.
Yes.
Where we're gonna create a tournament to decide who is the most shameful subsection of wrestling fan. And I posted this in a wrestling group I'm in, and listener Taylor commented, because we're talking about amateur photographers at shows, which is a subsection of wrestling fans I've never thought about, but I guess it does exist. And he says, my close friend's sister got divorced from the father of her child because he quit his job and bought a camera and was going to be a free photographer for Shimmer. And I think that's a valid reason to divorce anybody. So more power to you, because that is the saddest thing I've ever heard. Like, oh man, I'm going to buy a camera. Just going to go on the road with Shimmer and take pictures of these girls. Innocently, of course, because I just love the athleticism and what they're doing for women. And not because I think they're sexy and I want to have sex with them and I want to steal their pictures off their phone.
Oh,
None
shit.
of that.
Oh, man. Shots fired.
Yeah.
Wait, so his wife insisted that he, like, not do this? Or he was just like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go on the road with this independent women's company?
I mean, from what I gather from that comment, I think it's just like she was like, okay, that's too far. Like, she probably put up with him buying the DVDs and, like, the autographs or whatever, but once he was like, yeah, I'm going to be a free photographer, I think that was, and he quit his job for it. So, yeah. That's probably it.
God.
That's like, there's that Second Life documentary where this dude, like, goes overboard like that. So I can understand the power of the vagina, man. It's a strong thing, I guess. Let's see. Okay, here's a good one. There was recently an ROH New Japan joint show this weekend.
Yeah.
and it introduced a new Bullet Club member. It's some guy who looks like Mac from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And then the next day, they introduced another Bullet Club member who looks like the alternative costume version of that first Bullet Club member. And so I was wondering, do you think the Bullet Club is just completely washed by now?
It's been washed. Like, I even think like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are they're trying to break away from that branding by doing the Elite thing. But I mean, once like AJ left, I mean, who do you have now? Like Tama Tonga, Yujiro? Like, who fucking cares? Like,
Yujiro is like definitely like, I don't even know. He has to be like the Virgil of NWO. Maybe even worse. He's like the fucking David Flair of NWO.
I don't think Yujiro has won like in a decade, honestly. Like every time I watch New Japan these days, like he's always catching the L. But I mean, those shirts look cool to people that call Triple H Paul.
Yeah.
And as long as those shirts sell, I mean, they're still going to do it. Even though, like, to me, yeah, that whole fucking, like, stable has been washed for months now. If not years. Yeah. Not years, but yeah, definitely months for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, following wrestling Twitter, I have a feeling most of these people who buy these Bullet Club shirts do not watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. They just, like, love the shirt, which is cool. It's like all those people who bought the Che Guevara shirt in the 90s. Like, they're just like, oh, yeah, I love this fucking shirt. It's fucking cool looking. It's like the same thing. That's what Bullet Club is.
Yeah, like, who are you repping these days? Are you really a big Gorillas of Destiny fan? Like, is that a real thing?
Those guys depress me the most, I think, just because, like, they beat Hanma and Makabe, who I love, and, yeah, they suck. Like, no one likes them, it seems. Like, they just gave them the belts because I guess they were just hoping something. They're just like the evil Usos. Like, my hell would be the Usos fighting those guys for, like, a 60-minute draw. That would be, like, the worst fucking wrestling match ever. And I think the Usos might even be better than them, which is the saddest thing.
I agree.
I also, a little tidbit, that one guy, the newer Gorilla of Destiny, he played a Mexican in WWE, and I did not know he was Samoan up until like probably a couple months ago. So good for WWE for pulling the wool over my eyes for so long. I guess I don't need to read these. I get this one. I'll say quick. We get a lot of followers on Instagram and a lot of people that just like anything with the hashtags. And because they just want you to follow them back even without following you first, which is really rude, by the way, if you do that. But
tell them.
I've noticed a lot of lame Instagrams, and I just hope they're run by kids because they're just stuff like wrestler deaths, and it's just like,
shit.
And it's just like guys who post pictures of dead wrestlers, and like there's no rhyme or reason to it. They're just like, yo, you see this guy? He's dead. Like, what the fuck is the point of that? Like, you're not, like, surprising anybody with that. There's even worse ones that are, like, news ones where it's just, like, you know, the scoop on the street is that the Bullet Club's doing this and blah, blah, blah. And those are mind-boggling. They have thousands of followers, so they're doing better than us. But, I mean, like,
sure.
I don't understand the point of starting Instagrams like that. If you're not starting an Instagram with, like, actual, like, photo or video content in mind where you're, like going outside of the box and starting an Instagram with other content in mind, that's a real odd thing. So you should not do that. And my last thing is that, do you think that, I know you're not familiar with the site T Till Death, but there used to be, it still runs, but I think it's like a little inactive now. There used to be a site for like hardcore merch called T Till Death.
Okay.
That would just post like, oh, this shirt's on eBay right now. And, you know, it'd be like a rare hardcore shirt from like the 90s or 80s, or like a rare record or whatever.
So they're like aggregating like cool like things that are on sale.
Yeah, it like started as a blog. Yeah, and basically like this dude was like, oh, you should get this shirt because it's like super cheap right now. And I was thinking, do you think a site like that, like mixed with like Hypebeast, would work for wrestling merch?
Dude, you're kind of blowing my fucking like money plan right now, dude.
Well, no one's gonna do it before us, so I'm just saying. Like, it's the thing is, it's a lot of hard work, and like, I think we should really like if you're listening to this and you're some person who like maintains websites, you should get in touch with us because this is a $1 million idea, maybe like a $20 idea, because I think most people are content with just wearing Pro Wrestling Tees Bullet Club T-shirts, but I think we get the ball rolling on this, and then more people would be a little more concerned with what T-shirts they wear.
Well, the big thing about that is you're kind of like hoping that the T-Till Death guy is picking out cool stuff. So you're kind of hoping this guy is being a tastemaker of sorts, yeah?
Yeah.
So do I think a wrestling one would work? If we did it, fuck yeah, it would, man. We find like crazy stuff all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
You and I do. We send each other like really weird stuff. Like I found like All Japan plushes the other day, and I actually won that bid. So I mean, if you guys have, no, if there's any like angel investors out there that want to like hit us up that like wrestling, virtualpros64@gmail.com. We should talk.
Yeah, we could start like a little startup, and then we could quit our real jobs and just work in a warehouse somewhere with giant Apple monitors by some millionaire just paying us money to aggregate wrestling merch. That'd be a great job.
Hey, sort of related, like if you had to start like a fucking like a subscription box and it had to be wrestling based, like what would you include?
I would like definitely include masks. I think as far as something that you would pull out of a box and like visibly think this is worth my money, it would have to be a mask.
I remember there for sure.
I remember the first time I saw like an unboxing one on Wrestling with Regret, which is a YouTube channel that I actually like. Outside of unboxing stuff, I just watch because I think it's like freak show shit to me. But like, he got like the first wrestling box I saw, he unboxed it and he like pulled out a mask and like a doll, and the doll was like some like TNA B team guy, so it was like, you know, complete bullshit. But I was like, for $20, like a mask alone is like, you know, like I wouldn't be sad if I got like a sweet mask for $20.
I think you're also forgetting that guy also pulled out a Larry Zbyszko 8x10 autograph.
Yeah.
And you couldn't pay me like $20 to fucking have that in my house. Are you kidding me?
It's like, I mean, for me, it's like a cool curiosity. But I think like the next month, it was just like complete garbage. Like it was just like shit that I would just throw right in the garbage. And that's the problem with most of these boxes. It's just like you might get one cool box and then it's just like trash over and over again.
Hey, VRTL subscription boxes, angel investors, like this is a real thing. It could be a real thing. Kiss cards,
yes,
cards with shirts embedded. You know, our shirts embedded from.
We're talking about maybe making wrestling buddies. So
making some wrestling buddies of Mike and I. I mean,
maybe
these are great ideas. Okay, up next, get to know your hosts from Virtual Pros. Please stay tuned. And welcome back to Virtual Pros. Our main segment is us introducing ourselves to you. I feel like you guys really don't know our biases when it comes to pro wrestling, so hopefully this segment kind of, you know, helps you figure it out a little bit.
My method of podcasting is always to criticize things and make funny jokes about them without ever revealing anything about myself. That way you can't criticize me. And so I always feel like, even with Kissing Contest, we've done this, I always feel like you give the listener one episode where you're like, here are my weaknesses. And if you want to know them for future arguments, you have to listen to this episode, and then you'll know.
There you go. So we actually got 2 questions from Podcast Town. It's a Facebook group that Mike started. I'm a part of it. If you are a podcaster, if you have any, I don't know, what is it called? Those podcasts where they try to make you listen so you can like make money off them or something like that. E-commerce podcasts.
Yeah.
Follow Podcast Town. I guess the 2 questions that came from there, one of them was from, I think, Daniel. He asks, which is the better Hardy? No, which is the worse Hardy? Matt or Jeff? For me, not a question, definitely Matt.
Definitely Matt, huh? Daniel from he's at Wrestling Signs on Instagram, and he also started a new podcast called Check the Tape, which is like this podcast except about old basketball. So go check that out if you were like, I'd like Virtual Bros if they talked more about old basketball. It's called Check the Tape, but it's actually a toss up for me. I think for like up until like 2008, it was clearly Matt Hardy, but I think Jeff Hardy. The thing with Matt Hardy is I think he figured out the internet like somewhat recently, like a few years ago, and so even though he sucks like probably more and has like less upside to him, Jeff Hardy is just like he needs to quit. He's just like doing the face paint. He thinks that shit's cool. He sings his own theme song. It's like shitty new metal from 10 years ago, and like. I don't know. That dude is just like so out of date that, I mean, Matt Hardy is too, but I think Matt Hardy at this point is less embarrassing. So unfortunately, I'd say Jeff Hardy. I would say overall, like of all time, I would definitely say Matt Hardy. But as of right now, 2016, Jeff Hardy.
Dog, have you seen Matt Hardy's pants in 2016? You gotta go, Matt.
Anything stylistically, Jeff Hardy is 2 times worse than Matt Hardy. So I don't know.
I don't know. Back in the day, like Jeff Hardy used to come out with that white bomber jacket, and that shit was kind of tight, and he had that glow in the dark face paint. That wasn't too bad. Like Matt Hardy has the worst. Yeah, that was back in the day. The second question was from Brian. I think he asked your best and worst pro wrestler experiences. You can go first, Mike.
I honestly don't have any. I don't talk to people. I don't
really?
No, I don't like talking to people unless like we have something in common. I talk to like.
Didn't you be like Freight Train?
Yeah, I was gonna say I talked to like one wrestler at Evolve the other day, but I didn't even know he was a wrestler until I left. Yeah, we talked to Freight Train for a minute, who's the used to ex-champion of $5 wrestling, which is like Colt Cabana's. It's too much to explain, but like $5 wrestling is this shit. Freight Train is a little touched. He's a little touched, but you know he's it was weird talking to him. It was like talking to one of your heroes in real life.
Yeah,
and a touched hero on top of that. Also, that same event, I didn't talk to him, but our friend Welf, who also posts in Podcast Town, and also razzes Al about lighting the Giants, the San Francisco Giants. I think we were in line for beer, and Marty Jannetty was in front of us, and I think Welf was like, they don't give you free beer, and he was like, nope, and that was real sad to me that they couldn't even give Marty Jannetty free beer at like the event he just wrestled on, but whatever.
Damn, they couldn't give fucking Party Marty a fucking Budweiser for free on the house?
Give him some drink tickets or something. Jesus Christ. How are you going to do that?
That's fucked up, man. Wave Meltzer, he writes in.
What about yours? You didn't even say yours.
I wrote in?
No, you didn't say your wrestler interactions.
You're totally right. Off the top of my head, the best one I had was at a SummerSlam Access. I think this was like 3 or 4 years ago in LA. My friends and I were just standing around like in this crazy LA heat. And we turn around and we see Alicia Fox. And she is remarkably beautiful, like in real life. And so my friend and I, and I guess 2 other people were there, we were just openly ogling this woman. And she was like, hey boys, how's it going? And we didn't say one word because we were just stunned by her beauty. So she definitely thought that we were just like complete weirdos, even though she probably gets that reaction a lot because wrestling fans aren't very smooth. But yeah, Alicia Fox. Yeah, what a babe. Worst wrestler interaction off the top of my head. So I was at this NWC show when they came to Sacramento back in like 96, 97. This is the show where I took a picture with Sabu, with the Polaroid and everything.
Yes, yes.
And during intermission, they have autograph signings for free or whatever, so you can get your little program signed or whatever. So I was waiting in line for, I think, Jim the Anvil Neidhart's autograph or whatever, and there was no one in line for the Honky Tonk Man. And so I think I was like veering off to the left, and he thought like I was in line for him, and he was like, "Hey, there's no one here. I can sign your program." And I was like, "I'm not even here for your autograph, motherfucker." But I mean, I was 13, so I didn't say that, So I was just like, okay, I guess I'll just get your autograph or whatever, kind of ease the situation. And like during him signing my program, he was like giving me the stink eye, and I'm like, man, I didn't want your fucking signature anyway, motherfucker. So I was like, man, Honky Tonk Man's the fucking worst. I'm glad Warrior beat you in fucking 10 seconds or whatever. You're a piece of shit.
Yeah. That reminded me, I did meet Ox Baker, and he was really cool, but I don't really have any story outside of that.
Actually, as a follow-up, I saw Honky Tonk Man, I guess 20 years later, almost, at WonderCon in SF, and he was in the free autograph section because no one gave a fuck about Honky Tonk Man, and that was super gratifying. That kind of wraps that story up.
Oh, actually, I do have a good one. Sorry to keep this going, but...
No, it's a good fucking topic.
when I was young, like when I was, I was probably like 14, 15, around that age, maybe 14. There was this, it was right when like comic books were like fucking blowing up. It was like right after they started blowing up. There was this, it wasn't like a corner store. It was kind of like, it was like a general store basically. So like the size of like, not the size, basically like the size of a 7-Eleven, but independent. They didn't have a gas station, didn't have a slushy machine. They just sold like milk and cigarettes and, you know, everyday items. And for whatever reason, the guy was like, oh, I'm going to become like a trading card and comic book store and just like keep the milk cooler for like people who also want milk. So it was like this awkward comic book store, but that was also like a variety store. And after a while, he would start getting in like quote unquote named wrestlers to do autographs and stuff, like Misty Blue, who was a lady wrestler that I don't think wrestled for WWF. But one time he got Nikolai Volkov. So it was like Nikolai Volkov set up at this table at like, you know, in front of like, you know, some fucking Ajax cleaner and stuff, just like alone by himself. And it was scary at that point. Like I didn't even go up to him because I was so like, it was such an awkward situation seeing like Nikolai Volkov just in front of like these cleaning products, just chilling inside of a store. So I was just like, I'm not even going to ask for his autograph. I'm just going to leave. And yeah, the end. Like, it's just like, it's such a weird store to set up. They closed down like a year later, but yeah.
Man, that's a cool store, man. I would own like a bodega collectible shop if I could, if it was like feasible.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll start off with the Twitter questions. This one is from Wave Meltzer. He asks, who makes a prettier girl, Ibushi or Tanahashi? Is the negative approach 7-inch better than the antidote 7-inch? Io or Mio? I'll go first.
Okay.
Ibushi for sure would be a prettier girl. I think he has more of a sexual face. Tanahashi is just a brute, like in the face. He has a very big chin, so I don't think he'd be a pretty girl at all. The second question, I don't listen to, I'm guessing hardcore.
Yes.
So that's probably for you. Io or Mio? I would probably go Io, but Mio would probably be the funner person to date.
Oh, that's like a teen beat answer you just gave.
There you go.
I disagree with the Tanahashi question. Only slightly. I think I've always...
Did you see him dress up as Chun-Li? He'd be an ugly woman, man.
I don't... Well, this is the thing. Ibushi has always struck me as a very pretty man.
Yeah.
But not as a man that would ever like actually be a woman. Tanahashi, on the other hand, he might not be as pretty as Ibushi, but he looks like he would be more comfortable dressed as a woman. So I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. I think Ibushi would make the hotter woman, I guess, but I think Tanahashi would be the more comfortable woman. Like Tanahashi looks like he has no problem walking around in high heels. He just needs to lose some of the bulk. If he just slimmed down like after wrestling, he'll probably be a geisha or something. I don't fucking know.
There's no way that guy's slimming down. He is humongous. That might be the buffest Asian like in the world right now is fucking Hiroshi Tanahashi for sure.
The antidote negative approach 7-inch. I'm a hardcore dude, but I've never got like, I started going to hardcore shows in the 90s and I've never really dipped like super, like I know all the 80s bands, but it was never like a huge thing with me. I like negative approach. I've never like bought into antidote because that was like a band you basically found out about on the internet because like, no, I'm not old enough to like them. And I don't think anybody really remembered them until somebody brought it up on the internet. So I would just go with negative approach because I'm more familiar with that. But the last one was Io or Mio. I'm a new jack. I'm a poser to the sleazy lady wrestling world. So I know Mio. I've seen pictures of her, and I would say she's probably hotter. But Io Shirai has that gravelly voice that I'm super into. And her broken English and gravelly voice just does it to me. So I would just do it for that. Pick her for that, I mean.
There you go. Also a great moonsault. This is from CZW Fans, one of the best Twitter accounts in the game. He asks, when a wrestler blades their arm, does it skeeve you out as much as it does for me? Maybe not the arm so much. I know Onita, when he'd wrestle in those fucking like death matches, he would just bleed from the arm profusely because he would always take those bumps from the barbed wire. No, it doesn't skeeve me out at all.
Yeah, this is a very odd thing coming from CZW fans because
he likes used to that, you would think, right?
Yeah, he likes CZW. They hit each other with fucking light tubes and stuff like that. And yeah, the arm is no problem to me. I could blade my own arms and it would not skeeve me out. So I don't know. Yeah, I have no problems with seeing somebody's arm getting cut open.
I would rather blade my arm than my fucking forehead for fucking sure.
Yes, seriously.
Although I saw this one clip, I got fooled into watching it. It was, I guess from CCW maybe or whatever. This guy put a syringe in this other guy's foot, and I almost yelled. Like, it was at work. I almost went home for the day. Like, I was traumatized by this. Like, he just stuck it right in the fucking arch of his foot, and I was like, man, wrestling might not be for me, man. It was fucked up. Have you seen this clip before?
I don't think so.
Oh, it was horrifying. This is from John at John is Back. This is more for Mike, because you guys are both old, apparently. Who has disappointed you the most comparing hype versus actually seeing the dude?
Yeah, I was trying to think of something, but I don't know. When I go to wrestling, I'm just like, I'm going to get drunk and watch this. Like, I'm never thinking like critically, I guess. So I think the only time this wasn't even disappointed, but that same event where I saw Marty Jannetty and Freight Train, this was WrestleMania weekend when they were in New York / New Jersey, and they did like all the WWN stuff in one building. So it was just like indie card after indie card. And one of them was Chikara, and that was when we got there. And they had they had a surprise guest, and it was Jushin Liger. And so it was cool seeing Jushin Liger, but at the same time, I was like, man, this guy's like a legend. And he's just fighting in this shitty convention center. And it was just like, it wasn't like disappointing as much as like, you know, I was just like, I would expected to have seen him in a, you know, a more formal venue, I guess. But then I got to see him at NXT, so that made up for it.
He had a good showing there, you think, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Chikara match was just like some bullshit 6-man with like him and like Chuck Taylor and God knows who else. So it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like this big event that I was hoping it would be.
This is a question from Brady at Narchief. He asks, Al, do you feel obligated to like Batista because he's the only Filipino to do it big in wrestling? Brady, to answer your question, yes, I do feel obligated to like Batista. Don't get it twisted. When I saw that tattoo of the flags of Greece and the Philippines on his arm, I was like, man, Batista's fucking tight. He's repping out here for the brown folks out here. Tito Dave, I fuck with you, man.
But what? But you don't like Chris Wolf though? She's Filipino.
I like Chris Wolf. Fucking put it out there, Mike. Chris Wolf is cool.
I think she's cool. I think she's in character a little too much. But also, I'd like to know what kind of job she has where she's at every Stardom event but doesn't participate. Like, what kind of great glamorous life is she living where she could just afford living in Japan? I don't know.
This is going to get kind of lurky, but I think she teaches English, or she was teaching English on the side.
Oh, okay.
Moonlighting.
Yeah.
But I think she's like kind of like a low-key YouTube celebrity. Like, she kind of does this thing where like she like talks about Japanese topics, or like, hey, foreigner in Japan. I think I might be making this up in my head, but that's where I think her side hustle may be.
Okay.
But who knows? Yeah, she has a concussion right now. That's why she's out.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I'm sorry, Chris Wolf.
Man.
You're one of the first lady wrestlers that Al somehow introduced me to. Where I was like, I like her. She bites people.
TJP, he's okay with me. You know, all you guys who are Filipino, I will support you. Maybe not with money, but I'll root for you guys.
I didn't know TJ Perkins was Filipino either.
Oh, that dude has like the Filipino sun like all over his fucking branding. So I kind of think that's a little corny because I don't know. This might be only for Filipino listeners, but anyone that like can't stop about talking about being Filipino, they're fucking basic. Mike, this question is also from Brady. He asks, Mike, do you feel obligated to support Judy Bagwell because she's the only other Buff Bagwell fan?
Man, I don't like Buff Bagwell.
Yeah, you do. You have a shirt, man. You wear that shirt.
I know I do have a shirt, so I must love him. I was thinking about it because I've been watching old Nitros. I remember the one time people started to like Buff Bagwell, they screwed it up. It was when he got his neck broke, and he was like coming back as like a huge baby face, and then they did like started to use insider terms for you, you marks out there, but yeah, he's coming back as like a huge baby face, and then they did the swerve, and he was like actually a bad guy, and everybody hated him again, and not hated him in the good way. They just hated him because he sucks. And so I don't support Judy Bagwell or Buff Bagwell.
This question is from Aya. Honestly, if you guys need some art done, I don't know if she's taking requests, but whatever. She's at Aya Pizza, AYA Pizza. She's amazing. She did our Bull Nakano profile pic, if you didn't know, from Manila. Super dope. Not a wrestling question, but she's asking what your favorite item on the Jollibee menu is.
I would have to say that spicy chicken was a bang count it for sure.
Spicy chicken joy for sure. Paired with a little peach mango pie and an ST, you got a meal. One more question from CZW fans. He asks, which member of Podcast Town would you like to see take the Foley Hell in a Cell bump? Probably Gene.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Gene too. Then.
Sorry, Gene.
We agreed, Gene. Yes,
we're being honest. That was the last of the questions. So what me and Mike did was we kind of took from the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards. I guess the awards that they give out for specific topics, and maybe this will help you guys out in figuring out where our tastes lie, our biases, etc. I'll go from bottom to top. So all-time current and all-time, I guess overall overrated wrestler. I guess the wrestler you never got into, even though everyone else loved him. Current and all-time.
I guess that doesn't make sense for current and all-time. There's no other. I guess there's no one really for current for me. I mean, current and all-time.
Sorta.
Current and all-time is the same people, and it's fucking Eddie and Davey and fucking Rod Strong. All those dudes who are like Chris Benoit clones. Where I was like, man, I should like these guys because Chris Benoit, and I love Chris Benoit, I love Dynamite Kid, but I don't know, those dudes just rub me the wrong way. Like, they seem like, I don't know, they just seem like they're riding dick way too hard, and the fact that they've never really done any, like they've just still, I guess Eddie is in TNA now, so I guess that's something, but it's just like. They didn't have the career highlights that Chris Benoit and Dynamite Kid had. They've just been like wrestlers for the sake of wrestling, and we love wrestling. And I don't know what anybody sees in that. They're just kind of bland to me. Sorry if you guys listen to this show, but I've just never been into your shit.
Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength as you. Like all the indie darlings. I guess current, I could say Zack Sabre. I've honestly given him like a fairly decent effort. Like I've given it an honest effort. I just can't get into it.
I just want to point out something. A couple episodes ago, or maybe even a few episodes ago, I was talking about how I liked Zack Sabre, except I don't like his Durr face.
Yeah.
And I've now heard the same complaints from other people. So I'm just saying I might be a tastemaker. But it is true. He just kind of looks like unenthused. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. But it kind of takes it out of, you're doing all these crazy holds. He had a good match at Evolve this weekend, though, with Marty Skirt. So... That was fun.
Yeah, I bet like he's fun to watch live, but I mean from the matches I've seen from my couch, like I'm just not into it. I always fall asleep. It's just not for me. All-time overrated wrestler, and I'm gonna preface this. I've been a WWF kid like forever. I never had NWA, WCW in my household. So the guy that gets a whole bunch of love for whatever reason. I mean, I understand why he gets a whole bunch of love. His character's great. I never got into Ric Flair. Like, I am never ever in the mood, or like I've never thought like, hey, I'm gonna watch some fucking old Super Brawl. Like that's never ever been a thought in my head. And I know some people are just turning off their fucking iPhones right now, but it's just a guy I never really appreciated his ring work. Like WrestleMania 8, great match. Him versus Vader at Starrcade, I want to say in the early 90s. Great match as well. But for me, it's never been a guy that I've like wanted to like dig through his whole like discography, I guess. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I mean, I like Ric Flair. I don't like him as much as I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I definitely think he's a great wrestler. And even when I was watching like WCW from May 1999, and it's all dog shit, but he's still like really impressive, like acting wise, at least. I do think he's like worn out his welcome, like beyond worn out his welcome. And it's just like, that is what kind of like bums me out, is people are still like pumped to see him. And it's just like, you got to let it go, man. You got to let this guy die gracefully and not just be this weirdo that's still involved in wrestling. But again, I don't dig into his matches, but I would definitely be lying if I didn't say like Steamboat Ric Flair was like one of my favorite matches of all time. So
like Chi-Town Rumble, right? That's the match everyone points to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great match, don't get me wrong, but like, okay, mind you, I'm 31 years old, so like, I'm not fucking 46. Like, I didn't grow up with NWA. So, I guess with all that considered, like, I would watch Hayabusa matches all day over Ric Flair matches. It's just me, whatever. Next one, we'll go with the all-time and current favorite tag teams. I guess for me, my current favorite tag team would be American Alpha. And all time, I'll go with the Mega Powers. I like that idea of having just the two hottest dudes in the game with Miss Elizabeth. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I honestly just left this question in here just to mention that I think tag team wrestling is kind of outdated. It's kind of an odd concept, and I understand why WWE like every once in a while tries to just like kind of phase it out, because it's like it is a real odd concept. The way where gimmicks are more realistic now, and you don't have like Demolition, who is my all-time favorite tag team. You can't have that. Like they tried it with the Ascension, and they're dog shit. They're just in the toilet immediately. And so like I think after like the 80s and 90s, it was really hard to do tag team wrestling. But yeah, I guess currently I would have to say American Alpha too, and Hanma and Makabe, but I don't know.
Yeah, kind of non-committal.
Yeah.
Next up, I guess this might be the biggest one here, is current and all-time favorite match of all time. Honestly, the Wrestle Kingdom 9 match between Ibushi and Nakamura, it might be both. It might be the greatest match I've seen recently, and it might be the greatest match I've seen like of all time. Like that match is phenomenal. I mean, I might be, I don't know, hyping it a little bit too much, but that's really what got me back into watching wrestling full time. Nakamura is amazing in this match, and Ibushi, pretty woman, and a great wrestler as well.
Yeah, I this is like a question I was debating taking out just because I don't watch wrestling like the same way I watched it, throughout the rest of my life. So it's kind of a hard question to answer. I still think like Benoit, Sasuke is up there. Masawa Kawada, just all, like I said, Flair, Steamboat, Randy Savage, WrestleMania 3 is probably my all-time favorite match, just because like for nostalgia reasons and for it being like probably one of the greatest wrestled matches of all time.
Man, you are such a Death Valley Driver poster, dude.
I'm not. I mean, it's just like that's like a really great wrestling match. As far as currently, like it's too hard because it's just like I said, I watched wrestling completely differently now. I honestly think that CENA Brock Lesnar fight, the first one, like got me really amped on wrestling again, just because like it was like new and dangerous. Like Brock Lesnar was coming back and he was fighting as if he was still a UFC fighter, and he was bleeding, and it was like a fucking brutal match. And of course, John Cena wins at the end. But yeah, that match got me like super pumped. Like I was like, holy shit, this is like the best thing WWE's done in a decade. And so I still stand by that. I still think that's like one of the marquee WWE matches of like in recent memory.
The SummerSlam match is actually kind of sneaky good too. I like that match a lot.
Yeah, both of them are super good.
Up next, all-time and current favorite bad guy. I don't really have an all-time. I thought Razor Ramon back in the day was a great heel, even though he's kind of that tweener where you can still root for him because he was so awesome. My current favorite bad guy though, definitely fucking Tetsuya Naito. Like Los Ingobernables is the best. Like their branding's awesome. Naito's such a good wrestler, and for me, far and away, he is the best heel for sure.
All time, I would probably have to say Ted DiBiase. I think he was brilliant. Currently, I might have to go with Naito too, just because he's so good at it. I wish he would do it. Like, I mean, it's obviously appreciated in New Japan. I just wish he could do that same shtick on like in WWE. Like he just deserves like a grander stage to do that kind of shtick on, where he just doesn't give a shit about anything. And that moment in the Ishii match where where Ishii throws him back in the ring and he just rolls to the other side of the ring and rolls out is like one of the greatest heel moves I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, I guess I'd go with Naito too. Outside of Alex Riley, rest in peace.
He's a real bad guy. We'll just go into good guy. It's kind of a tie between Sami Zayn and Bayley. Like they are such fucking baby faces, and I love it. I thought
you hated Bayley.
I like Bayley a lot. As a face, she's awesome. I root for her.
Okay.
Why do you always say this? It's confusing.
I don't know.
Good guy for you?
I would say all-time Macho Man Randy Savage.
All-time good guy Hulk Hogan until I found out he's a huge racist, and fuck Hulk Hogan.
Currently, I think Sami Zayn he's doing it good. Like he is.
Yeah.
He's like perfect at it, and I wish him the best of success. Yeah, I guess I'd say he's my current favorite as far as good guys go. Unless you could count New Day, but they're kind of like an act, so that's a little different.
All time and current favorite promotion. For me, it's kind of tied, but I would probably give the edge to New Japan, even though I love what NXT is doing, even though right now they're kind of in a lull. I think a couple episodes ago I said, like, finding out the spoilers wasn't really affecting it, but I think it definitely is in a way.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Like, yeah, there's no surprises, but they are kind of booking that show like Superstars, where you know off the bat who's going to win and lose in those matches. So their TV is taking a hit, but their takeovers, like for the past one or couple years actually, have been super good. Like probably the best wrestling has had to show. All time, I mean, it's hard for me to not say WWF, WWE, because it's the promotion I watched as a kid and I still currently watch to this day.
All time, despite me using all WWF wrestlers as my answer for everything we just said, I have to go with ECW just because I go back and revisit it like at least every couple of years. And every couple of years when I go back, I'm just like, this is going to suck now. Like, there's no way this aged well. It is 2016, and it's still amazing to me every single time I watch it. And so I'd have to go with ECW. Currently, I'd have to go with Lucha Underground. I still like NXT a lot. But like
Stardom, man.
But like Al said, it's like I actually just cut this out of the 2-man scramble, but the spoilers on the internet thing is just like, it is a killer. And it's to the point where like people just do it to bitch about it before they even see it. So it's just like, I'm gonna be grumpy, and they do it just to be a fucking grumpy bitch. And it's stupid, man. Like, it's entertainment. You don't just rush out to like when a movie is filming to find like to read the fucking script and just decide on that. Like, that's really shitty to do. And I mean, not saying like when it was like announced like last week that Eric Young was going to be out on NXT, I wasn't like, oh man, that's a major spoiler. But the fact that I couldn't go 12 hours without knowing like the entire spoiled card for Wrestling Dontaku, which takes place in Japan.
Oh yeah,
it's like kind of fucking ridiculous. Like, just chill out. I mean, like, the one thing is like I said before on the show, if it's pre-recorded and it's not going to air for a month, you shouldn't be spoiling it. You shouldn't be fucking talking about it. Don't be those people. If it's something that's airing live and it's not like a normal time, I understand talking about it on the internet. But when something's on in Japan at 4 in the morning Eastern time, like, just because you don't have a job and you stayed up to watch it doesn't mean I need to hear about it. But anyways, yeah. So currently, I would have to say Lucha Underground, and I still like NXT, and I'm fine with the television show just being Superstars because I'd rather that than it being Raw. They're still guaranteed to have 2 amazing specials a year, at least 2, usually 4 though.
Oh, I agree, man. Yeah, it's worth sticking around just for the takeovers. Last up, all time and current favorite wrestler. Current favorite wrestler for sure, Shinsuke Nakamura. He's the best. He's been the best for 3 years, and to me, it's undeniable. All time. See, I kind of like cycle through this. Like as a kid, Hulk Hogan was my guy, and then I loved Sabu, and then I didn't care for a little bit, and then I cared about Nakamura way too much. So I guess those 3. Kind of a cop out, but it is how it is.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, like Macho Man when I was little, and then Sabu for me too. And
remiss to skip over Hayabusa for sure.
Yeah, Hayabusa is in there. I'm trying to think of like any other promotions. Mitch, like I like Great Sasuke a lot. Like all those people, I liked a lot. Currently, I mean, I don't miss a New Day segment, but that's because like it's not because of their wrestling. As far as like an actual wrestler that I'm super into, it's tough. I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head.
Nakamura? No?
I like Nakamura. I think he still has like this crazy aura about him. I think AJ Styles is super good right now.
Yeah.
He's like working his best. And Shibata I really like, but that's like a new thing for me. That's like a couple months old.
All right, up next is VRTL mixtape. We got Onita, Leon Spinks, weirdly enough. No Joshi, I think, this time around. Kind of crazy. Please stay tuned.
き得てしまったんじゃないかと思うの自分の足音さえ消してくれるような音楽喧嘩のことも君をもう忘れるまでをどうって言いたい散らがった部屋に帰ると
All right, we are back here with a Virtual Pros mixtape, which you can find on our YouTube. It's just search VRTL Pros on YouTube or see it connected to our SoundCloud or whatever. And watch along at home. Watch all these great wrestling matches or just watch them because you're bored and you want our great minds picking great wrestling matches for you to watch. Speaking of great wrestling matches, I chose a not so great one. Chris Candido versus TRACY SMOTHERS, IWA Mid-South 2002. I chose this match basically because the topic this week reminded me that Chris Candido is a wrestler that I kind of hated in real time because he was in ECW when I was like in the super gimmicky shit, and him and Lance Storm had like no gimmicks. They were just guys, and I was like, fuck those guys. They don't fucking throw chairs. They don't throw fire. They don't go through tables. Fuck those guys. And unfortunately, it took until like pretty much after Chris Candido died to make me realize like how much I like this dude and how much I think he was good at being like a shithead bad guy. And unfortunately, this match doesn't really show that off. I just saw they had like a more famous match in Smoky Mountain. Like it was a ladder match, but I couldn't find a good version of that, so I couldn't include that. And I was like, well, IWA Mid-South was like one of the last independent wrestling things I tape traded for. And it was like one of the last interesting things till I dropped out of it for a minute. So I'll pick that. And unfortunately, this is kind of just like a straight up wrestling match. Like they do some wrestling moves and has like a hokey finish. And it's not that great. And it's just like the best reason to watch this match is just for like how times have changed in 14 years. First up, there's a not completely haggard Sunny in this, seconding Chris Candido. And she was still decent looking here. So there's that little eye candy. There's a young Colt Cabana on commentary. If you guys want to hear what he sounded like before he became a podcast superstar when he was like, I would assume like 22 years old here, maybe 21. Though the film quality, this could be from the 1960s for all we know. This is, I can't remember the name of this venue, but this was like one of the IWA Mid-South venues before it got shut down because, you know, they had somebody go through a fucking flaming table because they're idiots. But yeah, overall, like, this is like a straight up, like, if this match happened now, there'd be people chanting like, this is wrestling, or both these guys. There's like a lot of those moments. And it's just like, I wouldn't say the crowd here is uninterested, but I would call them yokels. And the yokels in this crowd, which you cannot have, like, IWA Mid-South was popular on the internet, but it wasn't like how things are popular on the internet now. Like, it was popular on the internet because people bought the tapes or traded the tapes. But like, there would be 60 people at their shows because no one is traveling to bumfuck Indiana to watch IWA Mid-South. And unfortunately, that's not how independent wrestling works now. So like, despite how popular IWA Mid-South was at the moment with the internet, like, it was still yokels in the crowd, and they were just like, not uninterested, but you know, it is no like Bullet Club shirt wearing people in this crowd chanting "This is wrestling." These are just people like waiting to see somebody get hit with like a flaming light tube, and they just have to sit through this TRACY SMOTHERS match. But TRACY SMOTHERS is another wrestler that I think is great. He went on, I guess it was after this, he went on to be like, create like this crazy old guy persona in IWA Mid-South. And yeah, overall, not the best performance for Chris Candido, and the ending is really shitty. But I mean, this guy, I think he doesn't really get the due he deserves because he's really good at being a heel, real good at being like a fucking shithead crybaby, and yeah. So watch this match and think about how wrestling used to be before the internet ruined it.
Yeah, I took a couple notes on this match. I was kind of agreeing with you, but I really thought that like this might be the most apathetic crowd I've ever seen. Like for like 12 minutes, like no one reacted to anything, and it was actually kind of weird to watch. Like it was like one of those like matches where there's no crowd, like they just wrestle like in an empty arena, and like it was kind of unsettling to watch like these two people wrestle.
Yeah, it's very bizarre because both TRACY SMOTHERS and Chris Candido are working as if they're in an arena of 10,000 people.
Right.
Like Chris Candido, like anytime he sells, he's doing like these big, like bombastic movements with his body. And it's like, when you're in a room full of 60 people, that looks ridiculous. And so, yeah, it's just really weird because they're fighting like this 10,000 seat arena match in this like shitty, dirty ring in front of 60 people.
One of my notes kind of echoed your thoughts. Candido is really fucking good. That's what I wrote down. My last note was that Sunny's voice is the ultimate I want to speak to your manager voice.
Yes, she has that. It's even worse now that she's older.
Definitely. I picked a very kind of awful match. I want to preface this by saying I'm sorry, Mike, for making you watch this match. It was Atsushi Onita versus Leon Spinks.
No, we're going to do that one last.
Want to do that one last?
Yeah, we'll do that last.
All right. Okay, I also picked Kenta, all capital letters, versus Kenta Kobashi from 5/3/2006. It was Golden Week. One of my notes was, this is two of the pillars of Asian manliness that are kind of facing off. Kenta Kobashi is, before Tanahashi was the buffest Asian dude in the world. And Kenta, all capital letters, has a full beard and mustache, and I'm very jealous of him. 2006 was a time where I didn't really watch wrestling, so I know nothing about this match. So, like, with regards to the build-up, I don't really know what was going on, but I kind of hope that it was, like, billed as a father versus son match. I'm kind of convinced that Hideo's colorway, he wears, like, kind of like mustard and brown tights. Yes. I'm kind of convinced that this was, like, a rib on him, because this is not a good colorway, and it belongs, belongs in the toilet. Like, yellow is pee, poop is brown, like... I think this is a fucking, like, practical joke on Hideo Itami. I am not, like, a size fetishist by any means, but, like, it's a little distracting in this match. Like, Kobashi has probably 8 inches on Kenta, all capital letters. I'll just go with Hideo versus Kenta, just to make it easier. Like, Kenta Kobashi is, like, 8 inches taller than Hideo Itami, and he has about 80 pounds of muscle on him. So it kind of ruins the illusion for me. But it still doesn't, like, stop them from just beating the fuck out of each other. Like, Kenta is just doing these kicks to Kobashi's head really hard, like very dickish, and it's really fucked up to watch. There's this spot where Kenta Kobashi, he bends over Itami backwards, and he just like knife edges chops him in the face, like as hard as possible. Like, they replay this in slow motion, and you can see like the sweat flying off, and Kenta hitting him square in the face, and it's super fucking ghoulish. Just a super hard-hitting match, but I just think it was just so obvious that Kenta Kobashi was going to win, and there's really no, like, suspense to this match. So to me, it came off a little flat, but, I mean, if you want to see just dangerous suplexes and hard-hitting moves, I mean, check it out. I mean, it's not a bad 25 minutes to spend with your time.
Yeah, this match tells a very bizarre story. I wasn't really watching wrestling at this point. I've never watched Noah. Like, I don't think I've maybe watched like a handful of Noah matches in my whole life. But like, it just tells a very bizarre story where Kenta's coming, or Hideo's coming in as like, the big new badass in town. He's the big smug asshole kid, and Kenta Kobashi's the old man. He's the broken down piece of meat. So in the beginning of the match, it's kind of telling a story as if like Kenta Kobashi's the underdog in this match, and that is real odd. Because as Al mentioned, they are vastly different in size, but Hideo pulls it off pretty good. Like, those kicks look pretty brutal. I don't know what the fuck is up with that dude. I don't know if he's ever coming back to wrestling. I don't know if maybe there's some other shit going on where it's not an injury anymore, and maybe he got popped for drugs or something. Like, he's just been out for so long where I don't know what the deal is. But if he does come back, I really do think he needs this asshole look again of like his asshole haircut and his shitty scumbag beard and mustache. Yeah, because I think it would add a lot to him. Because I think the reason a lot of people think he's bland is because he's just like a clean cut Japanese dude, and he's not on the big side either. So he's just like, it's kind of bland when it comes to WWE guys. He's no way Jose, that's for sure. Oh, so God. Maybe that's why it's taking him so long to come back. Maybe he's growing out his hair to look like an asshole again. I did think there's it's a couple of like, they go into like ultra slow motion of some kicks and some suplexes in this. Yeah. And it's pretty cool, I guess I would say. It's just it's nice to watch. You don't see that too much in wrestling because wrestling's fake, so they can't do those kind of like super UFC slow-mos. And this was 2006 too, so it was probably pretty revolutionary. And I guess finally, Kobashi does the whole spot where he's chopping him in the corner like a million times, and that it comes off as very pornographic. He's just like he's hitting him so many times, and like Kobashi's just like, you know, mouth open, agape, just like wagging his head back and forth, and then just like close up on the chest of like Kobashi smacking it, and I don't know, it just came off as very sleazy and pornographic, more pornographic than anything I've seen in Stardom so far. But yeah, this is like an interesting match. If you're not familiar with what Hideo Itami did before his NXT run 3 years ago now, this is cool. Like, you get to see him beat the shit out of a giant man before he ultimately loses, of course. But yeah, and outside of that, it is a very bizarre story for Kenta to be coming in this match as like some badass against this dude who's like twice his size, but it works in a way.
Yeah, I always thought this like was weird. Not this was weird, but I always thought that it was funny that there was a Kenta Kobayashi when I would read my Pro Wrestling Illustrator Illustrated, and I just always thought that Kenta Kobayashi was just mini Kobashi, but it's really Hideo Itami. Yeah,
Vince McMahon would have a nightmare with this. He would make them change their name so quick. Okay, I chose Great Sasuke versus Super Delfin from the Mask League in Michinoku Pro Mask League 1995. I chose this match because I believe like at least somebody like 4 episodes ago asked us to do a Super Delfin match, and we said, of course we'll do it, and then we never did it. So here you go, buddy. I forgot your name. I forgot who asked, but here's your Super Delfin Mask match. This is a pew pew pew. This is a Vrtl Pros exclusive on YouTube.
Boom.
This was not available on YouTube until I put it there. This is Super Delfin in an alternative costume, a different one. It's kind of like some Kamen Rider shit where he doesn't even look like a dolphin anymore. He just looks like a scary robot. So the story of this match is that Sasuke hurts himself. I'm pretty sure he fake hurts himself, like very early on in the match, within like the first 10 seconds. He hurts like his kidney, lower back area. And the next 10 minutes of his match is Delfin just doing everything possible to fuck up that area of Sasuke. And, you know, for a while, you start to believe Super Delfin might actually beat the Great Sasuke, but everybody knows that's not really happening. But you know, like I've seen this match before, but I was tricked into believing maybe Super Delfin does win this match. He doesn't, but I don't know if this is Super Delfin's best match, but as far as like singles matches go, this is a pretty solid Super Delfin match. And I know fucking Al hates him, but also I don't know the name of this venue because I'm not that much of a dork where I remember the names of venues, but like I really like this venue because it looks like something from like a futuristic movie from the 1970s. It's like some weird, I don't even know, some gym, but like the bleachers are just modeled and set up and designed in such a weird way. There would be a lot of "This is wrestling" chants during this match if this took place in America in 2016 because I keep wanting to say Sabu. Delfin keeps doing like all these abdominal stretches where he's digging his elbow into Sasuke's lower back to fuck it up even more. And yeah, this is a pretty great match. Definitely not Sasuke's best because he's working hurt, as they would say in the biz, and but he's not really. He's just faking it. But it's a very, very rare match where Sasuke is very vulnerable throughout the whole match. Still wins though. I don't know how that shit works in Japan because I imagine it's not like in America where if you lose a lot, you're like Ryback and you whine on your Tumblr about it, or you make a fucking shoot video and you bitch about something that happened 20 years ago. Like, I guess over there, like, you know, it's just like, well, Sasuke's going to win because, you know, it's him and he's the owner of the promotion. And Delfin's just like, okay, that makes sense. And, you know, that's the end of it. And it's kind of sad in a way, but that's because I really like Super Delfin.
If anyone that listens speaks Japanese, I would love if you translated Yujiro's Twitter. And if he's fucking throwing shade at Kidani or NJPW, I would love to know. Because he always loses. I wrote down this prototype. I didn't even know when this took place. It seemed like a prototype outfit to me because, you know, Delfin's always wearing like these nose sleeve like singlets or whatever and like bright masks. But yeah, he looks like the Terminator here.
Yeah.
But I wrote down it's really fitting because I know deep down he's a piece of shit. And he might be more heel looking than like Jushin Liger's red gold outfit, which is like the worst outfit in the world. Yeah, if you start off a match by doing a high-flying maneuver in, like, your full entrance garb, like, this makes, like, any match, like, an automatic 6 stars on the Vrtl Pro scale. Like, so, Great Sasuke hits this Tope con Hilo with his robe on, and it looks fucking awesome. This kind of shows how great Delfin is, because his range is pretty wide. Like, he's really good at playing like a piece of shit, because he's a piece of shit. But he's also, like, really good at, like, wrestling comedies. So, like, props to that guy. Unrelated question, without looking at a picture or a video, how long do you think it would take you to put someone in an abdominal stretch in real life?
Oh, man. Now I kind of want to try. I'm just going to run out in the living room and see if Daniel's around or something.
Yeah, like, if he was just standing, like, and you were, like, approaching him from the back, like, how many, like, seconds, even minutes, like, do you think it would take you to personally put someone in that stretch?
See, it's so hard because in my mind, I'm like, instantly, it's legit one of my favorite moves. That and octopus hold. I love those moves. But, like, now thinking about the motor skills it takes to do it, I don't know if I could do it. I think I could probably figure it out in 2 minutes, I think.
So, like, I'm with you, man. Like, abdominal stretches look amazing, but the way that Delfin can do it in 2 seconds, it would take me 45 minutes to fucking do it that smoothly.
We're going to get more into abdominal stretches when it gets into the next match anyways, so.
Yeah, exactly. I wrote down that the Michinoku Pro apron skirts, the skirts that surround the ring, they're incredible. I wish that we named this podcast El Grupo de Michinoku instead of Vrtl Pros. There seems to be an ad for an AV, like, porn star company as well, because I see the word sexy on one side. And that Michinoku Pro logo is an all-time great. I love the green. I love the yellow. I love everything about that logo. My last note was, I've always sort of hated Sasuke's top rope moonsault. Like, his Asai is, like, so, like, unbelievably clean. Like, he can hit it straight.
Yeah.
But his top rope one looks like the fucking inspiration for Terry Funk. And I don't understand. It's the same fucking move. Like, why can't you hit it straight? Like, you would think, like, someone like Great Sasuke, who defies gravity on a daily basis, like, he could hit a great moonsault, but he fucking can't. It's fucking mind-blowing.
Before you go on, I just wanted to bring up that if I hadn't found this match, I was going to include the Super Delfin fighting in a fish market in, like, 2016 match that I found, like, a few months ago, and I still might include that in the Vrtl Pros mixtape, but that is where Super Delfin is right now, fighting in fish markets against fish-based wrestlers.
Oh, please don't. Lastly, for the VRTL mixtape is Atsushi Onita versus Leon Spinks, 5/24/92, for some sort of title that Leon Spinks won after he defeat Tarzan Goto. I think that's what happened. Defeated Tarzan Goto. This match starts off with Onita gathering his thoughts at some office cafeteria. I think Onita should wear a jacket his size, because this jacket is clearly, like, two sizes too big for him, and it kind of looks like a kid trying on his dad's clothing. Leon Spinks' entrance music is the Star Spangled Banner, which is kind of tight. Mike, I'm sorry for making you watch this, but this match fucking sucks. For 9 minutes, it's not too much of your time, but it's fucking awful. Leon Spinks just punches Onita in the face, and for the first couple times he gets punched, Onita just goes down, and he's just clearly blading on camera, which is kind of cool. He finally gets some offense in after hitting some very soft back suplexes on Leon Spinks, and he wins with an abdominal stretch, which he slaps on very quickly, so props to Onita. Some trivia, Leon Spinks, he beat the likes of Sabu, Tarzan Goto, and Mr. Gansuke.
Building up to lose to Onita, of course. Yeah, I had seen this match before. I think I unfortunately tape traded for this back in the day. This match fucking sucks. As soon as I saw you picked it, I was like, man, this match sucks. And it sucks way worse than I remembered it sucking. It's fucking super bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, Onita just, like, 10 seconds in the match just clearly blades. Just like, yeah, whatever. It's just like, it's so fucking bad. Like, the only thing that's even somewhat graceful is that Onita gives Spinks like I can't remember what kind of suplex it is, but he gives him a suplex, and Spinks takes it pretty well. And he can't even fucking take a clothesline. Onita tries to clothesline him earlier in the match, and he doesn't even understand that he's supposed to fall on the ground. Speaking of that abdominal stretch, That's why I'm not so sure it'd be so quick, because the first time they try it, Leon Spinks doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He has no idea what's going on. So I think in order to have a 2-second abdominal stretch, you need the other person to be like in sync with you. I don't think you could just whip it on a stranger that quick.
Like, you don't think someone can pull it off like an MMA? Like, I think there's like a move called the twister, which like kind of works like an abdominal stretch, but on the ground. Like, you don't think you can pull like an abdominal stretch off in a fight?
I don't know if any of the wrestlers out there that listen to this podcast want to expose the biz to us and tell us how quick it would take to like for a realistic abdominal stretch to happen. Please let us know, because now I'm very curious.
Yeah, me too, man.
But yeah, this match is horrible. Like, it's so bad. I didn't know he fought other people in FMW. I thought this was like in Onita trying to be Inoki, and like, oh, I can't get Ali, so I'll get the next best thing, Leon Spinks in 1992. After he's so washed at this point.
Dude, he wrestled like 19 times in FMW, which is remarkable. Like, he wrestled Sabu. Like, what the fuck?
He must have been living out there or something. I wonder if that old fuck. I wonder if Lynch has a best of Leon Spinks in FMW tape somewhere. He probably does. Yeah, this is a great way to end this mixtape passage, because this is a horrible match, and you should all sit through it and see how bad wrestling can be. And it's in a cage for no fucking reason. It doesn't come into play, like, not at all. It's just this is so bad. This is horrifying to watch.
Yeah, I think this match would be 10 times better if it was fucking electrified. I'll put that out there. That was episode 16. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on iTunes, also on SoundCloud. Find us by searching Virtual Pros and hit that heart. You guys do it sometimes, and it makes me super happy. Follow us on Instagram at VRTL Pros. I'm very confident that we have the best Insta in the game. You guys know it. Twitter as well, same handle, VRTL Pros. We have some very hot takes for you fucking diaper babies. And if you want to reach out, please email us at virtualbros64@gmail.com. Mike, any last words? We did it, man.
Support the product. Don't expose the biz.
There you go. Episode 16. Breaking kayfabe. We're out.